Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make these cards, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. When you purchase Stampin' Up! Products through me, you can earn free products. Check out my current customer appreciation products on my blog, and the link is listed below in the description. Today, I am sharing with you my customer appreciation products, as well as a couple fun cards that you can make with them. So in the month of September, when you order through me, make sure to use the link in the description box below. You can earn some of these free products, and I have different levels. So let me go ahead and walk you through those. The first level is a $50 or more order, and you're going to receive this beautiful real red sheer ribbon. And you can see I've used it here on this Christmas card. It's just really easy to use. It's nice and light, but with a really nice bright color. It's really fun. So when you place a $100 order or more, you can receive the real red ribbon as well as these gold holly leaves. And you're going to get 30 of them in a package, and they have two sizes. There's a large and a small. And I'll just show you those a little close up. They've got a fun little detail to them. You can see they are embossed and they're gold and they're super pretty. And I have also used them on this Christmas card here. Just kind of paired them up and placed them in a couple different places around the greeting. So the next level is a $150 order or more. And at that level, you're going to receive the Sparkle of the Season stamp set, along with the gold holly leaves and the real red ribbon. And that's the stamp set that I am using on both these cards today. So the stamp set also has a coordinating die, and we're not using that die set today, but one of the things that I love about them are especially these wreath dies. There are 3 different ones. This one has a little bit more of a Christmas theme to it. It's got pine boughs and holly leaves. This one's a little bit more autumn. It just has some oak leaves to it. And then this one's just has some stars, and it's a little bit on the smaller side. And then there's also some dies that cut out the stamped images as well as create their own die cut image with embossing and things. So if you're interested in getting this stamp set for free from me, make sure to add on to your order the Seasonal Swirl Dies so that you can use both of these products together. I do not offer the dies for free to my customers. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on these cards. So we're going to begin with the simpler of the 2 cards. And this is our Thankful card. It has more of a fall feeling to it. I love that little extra touch of polished pink. I wanted this card to have a warm feeling, so I'm also using very vanilla cardstock. I'm going to begin with Cinnamon Cider ink, and I'm stamping the kind of a swirly image from the Sparkle of the Season in the center. And then while I have that ink out, I'm just going to add a little distressing along all the edges just to kind of bring in that warm brown feeling. It's just a very light. I do not want it to be too dark. And I'm using a blending brush for this. So here's just a close-up showing you those steps. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of the leaf images from the same stamp set, Sparkle of the Season, and I'm just going to stamp them around this wreath. I'm going to begin with the kind of a longer looking leaf, and I'm stamping in Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to do that twice, one on each side. Next, I'm going to use Rich Razzleberry, and I'm going to use more of this oak leaf image, and I'm going to stamp this a couple times on each side of that first leaf image, just to kind of give it a fuller look. Oh no, I got a smear here. We're going to leave this open for a minute. We'll come back to that and do our splattering. And I think we'll just kind of put a big drop over that to cover up our smear. The next thing is there's this little grouping of leaves, and I'm just going to add a little touch of this polished pink to my card. I like just that little brightness that it adds. So you'll get something that looks like this. So now we're going to do that splattering effect. I do have some rich raspberry inside the lid, and I have my water painter. And I've got water in the bladder, and I'm just going to squeeze that into the lid to make a nice water mixture with that color. And then I'm going to splatter it using the lid onto my cardstock. So I'm kind of moving things away so that I don't get over splatter onto any of my other projects. So just kind of add that to your card, and then we're just going to do a big drop. So I'm just kind of squeezing right here until some water drops out over that splatter or that smudge that I had. Okay, so we'll just hide it that way. And then with a paper towel, you can clean off the brush and the lid. To clean the brush, you just squeeze and let that water run out until it runs clear. So we'll just put this off to the side and let that dry. And then we can move on to our second card. So our second card is a little different. We've used the images in a little different way, and we have stepped it up with some heat embossing and some extra embellishments. So this one is on some basic white cardstock, and you can see here the images from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set, which is again free with a $150 order in September of 2021. And for my first card, I've used this image and this one, along with the leaves in the grouping. And then for my Christmas card, I'm going to use the pine bough and then kind of this long holly bush kind of image, and then this kind of berry image here for this one. So I'm going to be using Old Olive for one of the greens, and this is going to be the leaf image. And I'm just going to kind of identify the direction I want it to go, and then just kind of stamp these randomly in this area. So a couple there, maybe one on this side. And the overlapping is okay because we're going to be covering that up with our greeting. Let's do another one maybe over here on the side. It looks a little bit lopsided. Okay, and it can kind of come off the cardstock there is fine. So a couple leaf images in Old Olive. Then we'll move to Mossy Meadow. This one's going to be our pine bough. And this can just go in between those other images here. And you can kind of double some up if you want. You're just making a nice full looking sprig or garland of leaves. So something like that. It's looking really good. And again, don't worry about what's happening here in the middle. That's going to be covered up. And then the last color we're using is Real Red, and that's going to pull in that pretty red color that we get with that ribbon as well. So then this we're just going to add in between some of these areas. And you can do some at different heights because we are adding that greeting and we want it to kind of poke out in a couple different places. Let's do another one, maybe right there. So it should look like this when you're done stamping. I am going to add a little bit of that distressing along the edge with some crumb cake ink. I'm going to be using the same one I used for the cinnamon cider, but I've just cleaned it up a little bit, so I should only get that crumb cake color. And again, we're just going really lightly around the whole piece of cardstock. And then to change colors, you're just going to rub until that color kind of comes out of the bristles of the brush. All right, so now we're ready for the next step, which is a splattering, just like we did for our first card, this one here. And the difference is that I decided to heat emboss that splattering. So I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a little bit of shine there. So the first step is to add some embossing buddy to our image. This is just going to keep the powder, the embossing powder, to the areas where we splatter and not get it on the stamped images, because those stamped images may still be a little bit wet and hold on to the embossing powder. So the embossing powder I'm using is the Ocotber, and I've got my water painter and a clear block. And here I'm going to add some water and just make a little puddle of water so that my bristles are well soaked with water. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I did for my first card and just splatter some water over my images onto my cardstock. And then I'm going to pick up that paper and place it right into my Ocotber. And you can see how that holds onto that powder in those areas where the water was splattered. All right, looks like we got a lot of splattering happening there. So I might just kind of tap some of that off. Okay. All right, so the next thing about using water for our embossing powder is that as it evaporates, it will blow the powder off of our cardstock. So we really want to make sure that we work from underneath our paper. Okay, so that has a really fun and unique look, especially with these bigger blobs of splattering. That's kind of fun. So then we can come back and look at how this has dried. And this is just, you know, we kind of put that there to cover up a little mistake, a smudge mistake. And so we do have some unique splattering on both of our cards today. So the next step is to tie our bows around our cards. Let me show you the original cards again. So we do have these nice two big bows on each side, and you're going to want to have about 20 inches of ribbon for this. So for the Christmas one, we're using the Real Red sheer ribbon. And again, you can get this one for free from me when you place a $50 order. I like to match up my sides after I've wrapped it around the cardstock and then tie a bow So it'll look something like that, and then you just want to slide it down and bring it in just a little bit to the center of your stamped images. So maybe somewhere like that. And then we'll do the same thing with polished pink ribbon, and this also is a sheer ribbon, and we'll just wrap it around and tie it in the same area. And then this one goes in the center, maybe just a little lower than center of our wreath. So somewhere about there. Then we can add these to our card bases. This Christmas one is a crumb cake card base, and it's just been cut to the regular size. And then this thankful one is a cinnamon cider card base. And so both colors coordinate nicely with the color that we added around our card as a little distressing color. Then we can add our greetings. And for the Christmas card, I have stamped both the Merry Christmas and the May the Sparkle of the Season Warm Your Heart on a piece of basic white cardstock, and he embossed it with the same copper embossing powder that we used for our splattering. And then for our Thankful card, I stamped it in Blackberry Bliss on some very vanilla cardstock and just trimmed it down, and we'll just put that right there. And then to kind of tack down the ribbon, because it's kind of coming up a little bit, you can use either a glue dot or a little bit of liquid glue underneath your greeting. And just kind of move that around until it starts to get tacky and holds it in place. Okay, so our Thankful for You card is all done. If you wanted to add some embellishments around that, you can. For our Christmas card, we are going to add some of the gold holly leaves, and I'm just going to place these with glue dots around my greeting. So I'm going to grab a couple large ones and some small ones. All right, so that card is all done. It's just a really fun, quick and simple card that you can create for either season using the Sparkle of the Season stamp set. Using the Sparkle of the Season stamp set. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these fun cards using my customer appreciation products for September 2021. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images on how to make these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.